Today I'm off this morning to go get a cab for my 58 Chevy short bed fleetside project, which is a dream truck of mine. It came with two cabs, but both of them were small window, and we're going to use that on a different project. Today I'm going to go get a big window cab from a good friend, Mike McGarvie, and his boy, and they're just two peas in a pod, seems like. And we're also going to see some neat stuff there at his place. His dad was an interesting guy, and Mike's done a lot of stuff and has some neat things. So he's going to tell us about his late father and some of the stuff he's got, and it should be pretty cool.
Well, if you really wanna go, you'll have to come up with some dough. I need some gas money.
So this is Mike and his boy Lakota.
Come on over here, Lakota.
Yeah, and this is his dad's old race car, and it's just super cool. What year is this?
65.
Where did this car race?
Vegas. A little road course there at the Speedway.
That course isn't there anymore, is it?
I don't know. But I wasn't there for the race. I just understood it was a turbo car at the time, and it was a little tricky coming out of the turns because you just couldn't quite time the boost. And I may have been the last person that drove it with the turbo motor. I kept it because it's kind of a work of art. I like the way he built it.
For sure.
The caps that he's put on the doors.
That's what I was most impressed with, was the craftsmanship in the build. I was just making fun of stuff like this the other day, and it was I was saying that mechanics don't build good-looking cars because the mechanics are the ones that build the race cars. They don't get the body men involved. This thing is just neat as a pin, isn't it?
That's it.
And your dad seemed to do everything that way, didn't he?
Oh yeah, his cars were nice. They're cool. I like this car. I like it a lot.
Yeah.
Probably all it would take to run it, because he kept the fuel empty. I'm sure that thing's empty. I think the guy dumps a can of gas in it and put a battery in it. Probably good to go. I would assume it's good to go.
It looks
He didn't like to park him broken.
right.
But,
and it's drum brake.
drum brake. I'm pretty sure he took the brakes. They're vented drums off of a Buick. They got the fins in them. They cool better. And I'm pretty sure they're not a Corvair brake, but they're close. But they're just different drums.
Right.
Yeah, the trunk's really cool. I think he has a Corsa dash in it, I would assume, with the tachometer. He built the cage.
It's just such nice work.
Yeah, he had some skills. It
looks like
the better driver was probably my mother. She could drive.
Really?
And so if Dad would build a car for her in it to drive it, I think it.
I know a few of those.
Yeah, she would. She used to build the sandrails, and she could always beat his time on a course. So, but she wasn't afraid to break it. So that was the thing. And she would take the car out and destroy it going faster.
I'm not a driver. Yeah. I know that.
No, and Mom wasn't a fabricator. But yeah, it's sitting just about where he kept it. So this was his garage, and I think this is about where it's at, isn't it? Yeah. I think this is where it just hasn't moved.
And this was his pickup, right?
Yeah, and that's same thing. There's a lot of that thing's set up for road racing. I have been on a racetrack in that, and it was a wild ride. It was fun, really fun.
Is that the original color?
No, it's colonial yellow originally, and this is a little more of a
Pale.
yeah. It's a Hyundai color. Put it on.
It looks really good.
He has a trailer that he built. We plan to mount the car on the trailer, pull it to the car show with the truck, and show off Bob's stuff.
It was very cool.
We don't have. It is cool. I love this car.
Tell me about the others.
Well, so the GTO was a gift from Bob. He bought it brand new. Ordered a couple of them. He always bought 2 cars, never one. He always bought 2. If he ordered a new car, he bought 2 of them. And this one had a 6-speed. He didn't care for it. We got in it and just didn't like the stick shift. So
it's actually an amazing car.
Oh yeah, I run the tires off of it, and the doors 3,000 miles. The tires were gone, and now it's parked.
And a lot of them are getting hammered too. Yeah. This one's just.
That car has never been in a parking lot ever.
Really?
Not once. Just to get gas. It's the only time it ever stopped. Otherwise, it was here.
That's awesome. How many miles are on it?
13,000.
That's unreal.
The last 10,000 miles have been a lot easier than.
And you said it's 06?
04.
04.
It was the first GTO in Utah. So he ordered it quite early, you know.
Got pre-ordered.
Yeah, it was ordered, I think, months and months, maybe. I don't know the timeline. A long time before we saw the car, and it showed up, and he knew he had another one with an automatic coming, and he just said, "Hey, go drive this." He usually didn't want me driving his cars; those were a little rough on him, and I might have been, because by the time I got to Sun River, I didn't have any brakes. They were already warmed up. It quit working, but so I don't think with stock brakes it goes better than it stops. But,
what about this 442? I like the color.
Yeah, that's the original color. This car's a survivor. Other than it's got a thin coat of paint that we added to it, and
for some reason I've just always really liked a bench seat and a floor shift.
Yeah, I think this was a purpose. This is a drag racing car. I don't think it was. I want to meet the guy that put 100,000 miles on this thing because it's hard to drive. Manual steering, manual drum brakes. It's easier to turn it around with the back tire than it is the front. And it's got a Art Morrison, or not Art Morrison, but Strasburg's built the motor for it. I got a timeline again. I think it's been 25, 30 years ago since we put it together.
It's beautiful.
It's oddly, it's been in this garage for a long time too. It used to sit over there.
Mm-hmm.
Probably the only scratch on the car was that this light fell out of this fixture up here and dropped on the back of it and broke. It hasn't had a bulb in it since. That was 25 years ago.
That's funny.
This car's cool. It's an original. Other than we took the motor out and ground on it a little bit,
mm-hmm.
and added a Barry Grant carburetor to it. It's got the original transmission. Suspension's never been worked on. It could probably use it.
Just super cool.
The GTOs, if I had to pick between the Oldsmobile and the GTO, I'd probably have to have the GTO.
Just to tell you the truth, it's a rare car. It's an awesome color. The things I really like about it was an Australian built, right?
Oh yeah.
It's a Holden, and they just put, like in Australia, this was an extremely expensive car. This was probably $115,000 car off the lot, and they just put so much good sound deadening. The attention to detail was so much more than what you're getting in America, but they were expensive. When you bought a car in Australia, that was your car for the rest of your life,
I talked to an Australian, told him I had one of these, and he said, "Oh, you've got a Holden?" I'm like, "Yeah." He says, "Well, those are for high rollers in Australia."
Yeah.
And they said,
"Yeah, if you got the V8 It was a big deal. But they had a lot of power options out there too, and everything had power. Even if you got the base V6, it was probably pretty stout, and then it went supercharged, turbocharged, V8, supercharged, turbocharged.
It's still tight. I mean,
I have no doubt
on it. It doesn't rattle. It doesn't shake. It doesn't. It doesn't do anything weird. It's just cool. It had a flat hood. It's here. It's over there. When it was new, Pontiac came out and offered the owners of this car a package with the hood and a different spoiler and different vents, and we had the hood painted and put on it. Dad did that. It's
very cool.
Yeah, it's a keeper. Mm-hmm. It's fun. We've had it out a couple 2 months ago. Yeah. Tested our driving skill a little bit with it. It was kind of fun. Probably go to jail for what we did, but it's definitely.
It's hard to play anymore.
Well, we had a little course made up here in town here that was kind of fun, and they added a stop. Yeah, they added a stop sign to it. I'm not going to run a stop sign, but
I did some Brodies in the Suburban the other day and got caught by a bicycle cop.
Oh no!
And I got a reckless driving, which is $680 and up to 150 days in jail.
Oh, jeez!
And a year probation. And it was a lame. It wasn't even a good Brody. It was lame, and it just.
That sucks.
And I didn't serve any jail time, but I'm still on probation until December 2nd.
I love doing donuts. Yeah, I think the only better thing than donuts is jumping in a car. This one doesn't do donuts very well.
Really?
It's got an independent rear axle. It just does not like doing donuts. It was
just made to handle.
It's grippy back there, so that thing does great donuts. That one's just it'll do donuts all day long.
What about this guy?
That will probably do donuts too. It's got a posi in it.
This is super cool. This is a 57? 55 Cameo. They came with the fiberglass bed sides, and it kind of had the Corvette of trucks.
Well, it was when they started playing with glass, so it's basically stuck onto almost a step-side box. There's a couple of little variations. Really close.
Okay.
So it's just.
I didn't know that.
And it's a different panel because it doesn't have the ribs and stuff in it that a regular step-side would have. But I think probably the coolest thing about this truck is the tailgate. It's got retractors and you can't see it.
And it has a spare tire holder under it too.
Mm-hmm. It has a spare tire
in the
holder.
back of
the bumper folds out of the way. The spare tire actually slides out the back bumper. And,
super cool.
But this is where it's been like this for, it's been a few years. It's been sitting here. I took the shifters out of and it works really good. It's out of a 54 Bel Air. And it's really similar to a Cameo, or to a Hydromatic shifter with the exception of the I think it'll work better with the Turbo 350 that we put in the truck. So
we got to talk about your Chevelle. I love this car. And I saw you take off. Who were you with the other day?
My sister.
Him and his sister got in it the other day, and it was just like straight out of a movie. It was just such a cool car. Love the color. Is this, they call it Hugger?
Well, it was the paint was a mistake, and we're glad because it ended up, we ordered Hugger Orange, and at the paint store, evidently they did Hugger Orange in the 90s. And it's a little different shade. It's a little darker.
I ended up in trouble with that on a Mustang I did one time, and it was supposed to be Grabber Blue. And the guy was like, oh yeah, the new Grabber Blue is exactly the same. But I jammed it in the old Grabber Blue, and then I painted it in the new Grabber Blue, and that was a very big issue.
Yeah.
We ended up having to repaint it.
That's a lot like what happened here. But we're happy with the color, so the mistake is a good one.
And I love the buzzer.
It's just a solid car. It doesn't have any
super cool. Clean. Yeah, and have you daily drive this, or do you just take
once a week? Basically, you can't really get enough insurance on it to drive. It's only 20, and we didn't know when we built it that we ended up building a fairly valuable car.
Right.
And so, it just doesn't have enough coverage to drive to work, so it just goes on and puts around.
Yeah, after the wife wrecked the Buick, or the wife did not wreck the Buick. After someone hit her, she's been pretty gun shy to drive it again, but she's been back to pretty much daily driving it. But there was probably, I'd say, at least a solid 2 months she didn't drive it.
Right. Well, we worried about it. And then his biggest worry is this car would do donuts when we were putting it together. Kind of a low horsepower motor in it.
I think I've seen a video that says otherwise.
Yeah, we've done that. Actually, we could have got thrown. They wouldn't have to take us very far to throw us a shell. We were right there.
Well, if you really wanna go, you'll have to come up with some dough. I need some gas money.